Today, an FDA approval in multiple myeloma, breakthrough therapy designations in renal cell carcinoma and aplastic anemia, promising results in a melanoma trial, and a Japanese approval in urothelial carcinoma. Welcome to Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus. The FDA has approved denosumab for the prevention of skeletal-related events in patients with multiple myeloma. The approval of the RANK ligand inhibitor is based on data from the Phase 3 482 study, which were presented at the 16th International Myeloma Workshop. In the trial, denosumab demonstrated non-inferiority to zoledronic acid at delaying the time to the first SRE in patients with multiple myeloma. The median time to first on-study SRE was similar between the treatments at 22.83 months with denosumab versus 23.98 months with the bisphosphonate zoledronic acid. The median progression-free survival was 10.7 months higher in the denosumab arm. There was also a non-statistically significant trend in overall survival favoring denosumab. In renal cell carcinoma, the FDA has granted a breakthrough therapy designation to the combination of pembrolizumab and lenvatinib for patients with advanced or metastatic disease. The designation was based on the results of the RCC cohort in Study 111, which was a multi-center, open-label, Phase 1b/2 clinical trial conducted in the United States and the European Union to evaluate the efficacy and safety of lenvatinib in combination with pembrolizumab in subjects with selected solid tumors. The Phase 1b portion was designed to evaluate the maximum tolerated dose of the regimen. The Phase 2 part was conducted in patients who had select solid tumors with 0 to 2 prior lines of systemic therapy with a recommended dosage of 20 milligrams of lenvatinib daily and 200 milligrams of pembrolizumab every 3 weeks as determined based on the results of the Phase 1b part. In pooled results from the trial presented at the 2017 ESMO Congress, patients treated with the combination had an objective response rate of 63.3%, and the median progression-free survival was not yet reached. The FDA has granted a breakthrough therapy designation to altrombopag for use in combination with standard immunosuppressive therapy as a first-line treatment for patients with severe aplastic anemia. Altrombopag is already approved in the United States for the treatment of patients with SAA who have had an insufficient response to immunosuppressive therapy. The designation is based on results from research conducted by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute of the National Institutes of Health. Investigators found that altrombopag, which is a small molecule thrombopoietin receptor agonist, administered concurrently with standard immunosuppressive treatment, was associated with a 52% complete response rate in treatment-naive patients at 6 months. The overall response rate was 85%. In melanoma, results of the Phase 3 KEYNOTE-054 trial found that adjuvant treatment with pembrolizumab reduced the risk of recurrence by 43% in patients with stage 3 resected high-risk disease. The hazard ratio for recurrence-free survival was 0.57 for pembrolizumab versus placebo. There were no new safety concerns in the double-blind KEYNOTE-054 trial compared with outcomes reported in previous studies of the PD-1 inhibitor. This study included 1,019 patients with resected high-risk melanoma. The study remains ongoing so that investigators can evaluate additional key endpoints, such as overall survival. Merck, the manufacturer of pembrolizumab, reported in a press release that the full results from the trial will be shared at an upcoming medical meeting and submitted to regulatory authorities. The Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare has approved the use of pembrolizumab for the treatment of patients with radically unresectable urothelial carcinoma who progressed after chemotherapy. The approval is based on the Phase 3 KEYNOTE-045 study in which single-agent pembrolizumab reduced the risk of death by 27% compared with chemotherapy in patients with advanced urothelial carcinoma whose disease progressed after prior treatment. KEYNOTE-045 was conducted for patients with locally advanced or metastatic unresectable urothelial carcinoma of the renal pelvis, bladder, or urethra who had progressed after 1 to 2 lines of platinum-based chemotherapy or who had experienced recurrence after 12 months of chemotherapy. This week, we sat down with Dr. Alan Vanook of the University of California, San Francisco to discuss upfront therapy approaches in gastric and gastroesophageal junction cancer.
Patients with locally advanced stomach or GE junction cancer can be cured. The challenge is how do you do that and what's the best order in which to do the treatments. Combinations of chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and mixing and matching of all of those may be the standards. Certainly in Europe, the standard is chemotherapy followed by surgery. In the US, it might be more standard would be surgery followed by chemotherapy and radiation, and then there are variations on that theme. But the goal is to cure the disease. You achieve that infrequently, but you do achieve it occasionally. Again, in Asia, you might achieve it more commonly because biologically we think gastric cancer is different in Asia than in the West. But here, again, the combination therapy, the goal is to cure the disease. It probably happens in 15 to 20% of patients.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus.